It's your girl Shay Baby, and welcome to the Brown Book series. Tonight, I decided to air two interviews that took place at the Chicago Spring Fling back in April. These two young ladies came in and they shut the place down. And I was like, hey, a lot of people didn't get a chance to attend the event, nor did they see the interviews. So, if you can just oblige me tonight, and please welcome back to the Brown Book series, our interview with the Dr. Vanessa Riley and our interview with Dr. Juile Moody Freeman. Have a good one, and then join us back next week with all new interviews from authors you're going to love. Have a good one.
Open up your brown book, baby. It's for you, it's for us. The fantasies, no one can judge us, no one can judge us. This is for us. Open up your brown book, baby. It's for you.
Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Shay Baby from the Brown Book series, and we are back for our final day broadcasting live from the Chicago Spring Fling. And y'all know I had to listen. Last night I had to drag this lady off the dance floor and tell her, girl, you supposed to be up here in the morning at 10 o'clock talking to me. So when I finish dancing, you need to stop dancing, and we're going to go upstairs and get us some sleep. And then she came in here this morning looking all just wonderful and bright, smelling good, looking good. She brought the sunshine. Ladies and gentlemen, I know I don't have to tell y'all who this is, but please welcome. Oh, she was a keynote speaker last night. What is it, USA Today? New York Times? Which one is it? It's both of them, ain't it?
No, they've mentioned me. I ain't made the list yet because y'all need to go out there and buy my book.
Y'all need to go buy her book. So potentially New York Times, USA Today, but she is an award-winning author, Dr. Vanessa Riley.
Thank you, Shay. You are amazing. And this girl worked it last night. She worked it.
Listen, that dress, baby. Laverne and Shirley they said, Mommy, we want to go party. I said, I'm going to let y'all go party too. But you were so cute. So, Vanessa, I missed your keynote last night. I got my times crossed, right?
It's okay.
And because, my watch says, 11:15, but Chicago was like, no, girl, we're all behind you. Quit doing that.
Yeah.
And so...
That's because you got a real watch. Instead of one of these digital ones, right?
I did a digital one. I'm old school. I don't know what about it.
It's a real watch.
I gotta have a
First of
watch
all, you
on.
can actually tell when the little hand is this way. That's a skill, boys and girls.
Right.
Most people have lost that skill.
Most people have lost that skill. Now, Vanessa, first of all, for the 3 or 4 people who've been living up on the rock and don't know who the hell you are, could you please let them know? Well, please, tell us a little bit about Dr. Vanessa Riley.
Well, I am Dr. Vanessa Riley. I specialize in, I love history, basically. And so all my books are about history. But you're not, people come for the story. So I try and find engaging stories, power women through the ages from 1750 to about 1830. We weren't all enslaved.
Right.
Okay, let's get it out. We weren't all enslaved. Some of us were able to become free and just do things for the race, do things for sisterhood, empower people, live great lives, but we never hear about them.
Right.
The enslavement story is an important story because if you don't understand the struggle and the pain, then you won't understand the generational effects that it has on the family. But it's not the only story, and I'm tired of people doing what I call pain porn.
Uh-oh.
So,
Wait. You said pain porn?
Pain porn. They want to write something dramatic and they want to be historical, so they'll throw in the worst abuses in the enslavement, and then they'll have some holy roller come in there and stop the madness and free the slaves, and all the slaves like, yeah, we get free, yeah, thank you, master. What do you mean I gotta still report to work next week? What? Yeah, for free. Yeah, and that actually happened. That's the sad part. That actually happened. Every one of us needs to know whether we're black, white, brown, yellow, sunny yellow, or whatever. needs to know actual history, not what we think history was, but actual history. And when you do it, when you find out, you will know that, we are, when they say we were kings and queens in Africa, that part is true, right? Mm-hmm. But we didn't jump in a spaceship and then just show back up in 1865 so y'all could free us. That did not happen. We were engaged in every part of the fabric of life. At one point, 4 out of every $5 came from the West Indies.
Wow.
Sugar, basically enslavement dollars. So y'all want to call it the sugar trade, make it sound all sweet? No. That is the labor, the blood, the sweat, the tears of folks that have been stolen from Africa to work in the West Indies, in the sugar plantations, in the coffee fields, in the cotton fields, in the indigo fields. So once again, I love writing stories that show a broader perspective. One that hasn't been sanitized to the point where we exclude people, because everybody has a part in this journey. And here's the bad part. We are all guilty. Colonization has affected everything. Even how we think about ourselves, what we think about beauty today. We all have to check ourselves. And the only way you can do it is read history. So you can go buy my book and that'll save you some time.
Which one? I would feel like, what? Island Queen.
Island Queen, yes. And Island Queen is coming out in paperback in June.
What?
Yes. And it's got discussion guide questions. So, book clubs across the country, make that move. It's going to be great. It's a great discussion of a power woman in an age where women weren't supposed to be seen, where women weren't supposed to have power. And you will see how a black woman literally becomes a threat to the power structures of some of the colonies. And of course, there's lots of foolishness in there because she likes the men's.
She likes the men's. And they likes the her too.
They likes the girl. That woman was a magnet.
Let me tell you. But the way you described her, though, well, you described her how she was because you did your heavy research.
Yeah.
She was so sexy, honey.
She was.
Yeah, she was like a black Marilyn Monroe.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Now, what made you want to write about her though?
Literally, when I started writing Regencies, and most people are familiar from Regencies like Georgette Hare or even Jane Austen, and they don't believe that black people are in this picture. So throughout my career, there's always been this fight. Y'all wasn't there. And then I show them that they was there.
Well, what kills me about it, though, how can you say we wasn't there, but then we were slaves? But then you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the next thing. When they accept that we were there, well, y'all only could have been slaves. Oh, what? England got rid of slaves about 1807? Oh, okay. Well, then y'all was just servants, okay? Oh, you found some millionaires? Well, you did. Well, y'all couldn't have messed with your... Oh, you found some mistresses?
Talking.
Yeah. So it's like all these never, and then like one of my favorites is the Prince Regent. The reason we call it the Regency. He liked to hang out with the bros. He had friends, especially the boxers. So like he had a party where all his favorite athletes were at the party, dressed as Roman centurions and just mingling with the crowd and stuff like that. So think about these big buff black men.
Ooh.
Yeah, girl.
I'm sorry. Think about big buff black men just make me happy.
And this is a party, so like everybody had a great time. The Prince Regent was known for throwing a great party, but he championed black people of excellence that he came to know about. So it's like we're there. You have to not look for us,
right?
And for a long time, that's the case. Not looking for us.
But what about the Regency that caught your attention to make you want to write about it? Because you write wonderful stories and your love stories are, I love them.
Thank you.
But so how did the Regency era catch your eye, catch your attention?
Two things. My mom, she made sure we were readers, right? Mm-hmm. But we was a holy household. So
yes, they were. So I heard the stories. Yes, they were.
So what could come in the house was very specific things. So mother on the approved list was everything old. Like if it was done before 1600s and 1700s, you could slip in. And so we had Thoreau, we had Shakespeare. I mean, she made sure we did that. And luckily for school, we had to do some projects, and one of them was, I think, Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen's book. And I was like, oh, this is fascinating.
Also, so Jane Austen, reading her book kind of got you into
it. Got it. I love the banter, right? Because you have this woman who should be deferring to the rich folks and the people, and she's just calling them out and calling them stupid and basically to their face, right?
Was like, yeah, she my kind of girl.
She my kind of girl. And then I get to her very last book, Sanditon. The wealthiest woman in the book is a mulatto woman from the West Indies. See? And I was like, oh, my people! I found my people! Just makes sense! Just makes sense. My father's from Trinidad and Tobago. He used to tell me all these little crazy stories, so it's his fault, too. So
he told you the stories like, no, we was kings and queens. We was this.
No, he would tell me some crazier stories about when he was growing up and foolishness and history, and that's like, I gotta protect the. You gotta protect him. Yeah. But Daddy was hilarious. But he was a great storyteller. He's one of them that like on the edge. He was, what gonna happen next, Daddy?
See, that would be hot.
Yeah. So
that's hot. So do you find it difficult researching that because it's so washed down or so like kind of being pushed away, and you don't know, like, how do you know what is facts? Because it's like you can't just Google it for real. So like, how do you find it difficult in the research?
Research can be very, very hard, and particularly because folks that don't look like you or me have been doing the research, and you see their bias come in.
Yes.
So one time, there are times where you throw things across the room. One of the historians literally called Dorothy's first two children part of a relationship with her half brother. She was enslaved.
She was what now?
She was enslaved, and she had a relationship with her half brother. Can everybody just say what incest and rape really looks like?
Oh my God!
Yes.
Did she know that was her half?
He forced her. He raped her.
He raped her.
Yeah, it was
right. With Dorothy. We're back on
Dorothy. Right. That I threw the book across the thing because what has happened is people who, once again, who don't look like us, who don't have the sensibilities, or just flat out racist, that happens too. Try to sanitize the history, and they don't think anybody is going to be paying attention. So they instead of calling it rape and incest, they call it a relationship. Well, that's a jacked up relationship.
That's fucked up.
You know what I'm saying?
That don't make no sense.
And you throw it across the room. So you have to go through, and I look for the clinical dates. She was here in this date because you can't make this is the date. She was here. But then you have to go with your own sensibilities and understand the scenario. She is enslaved at this time to their father.
Right.
She doesn't have any choices, and then he's an older brother forcing himself upon this girl. She has no choice. It's not a relationship and whatnot. And so you have to filter things through.
I know reading your books, but let me just, we friends. So I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I done told you this before. Your romance, I can get through it. But that dang on Island Queen, because you and Beverly Jenkins, y'all got this. It's so much history and so much facts in your stuff. I'd be like, okay, you read like 2 or 3 chapters, then I have to stop and go and research it, and then try to find it. Then you go back like, okay, now I found you should see my Island Queen book. I need a new one. It's like a Bible. It's highlighted. It has tags.
I love it.
No, I just want to read the book straight through. You get on my nerves.
No, but the problem
it's so interesting though. My God.
It's like you find so much cool and things that we should know that haven't been put in the textbooks or stricken out of the textbooks. Yes. And so
they don't even teach it in schools though, or nothing. Like
there are a couple universities that actually have put Island Queen as part of their curriculum.
Oh, go girl!
Yeah, I mean, but we need to know it, right? Because when you know it, I firmly believe history repeats itself. So, like when we got to that part where you're in Grenada, and any white person could come up to any black or colored individual, because that's what the mulatto people were called during that time frame, and ask them for their papers. And if you didn't have your birth certificate to prove you were born free, or your manumission documents that proves that there was a legal transaction that freed you, they could throw you in jail, and you would have exactly 2 to 3 weeks to get your papers. Now, if you weren't born in Grenada, how you gonna send somebody from jail to go get your paperwork if you were in Montserrat or Dominica or one of these other islands? You can't. So basically, they could sell the Grenada could sell you back into slavery because you didn't have your papers.
That absolutely. So you know what? And in reading Island Queen, like I said, I learned so much. I was like, Lord, my book. I need a new book because that one right there. Yeah, thank you. But when I got to the part about the hats and the scarves, let me just be honest. I even have a hard time putting a silk scarf on at nighttime to wrap my hair up because I'm like, I did not know, because with the hat, for everyone who hasn't read Island Queen, it follows the story of a young lady named Dorothy. And when you are free from slavery and just free in life, you wear hats. But when you are bound, you still wear scarves. So if all the girls walking around with the little head wraps and stuff, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That is crazy. So
it's
did you know that though prior to researching?
I did not know that going in. So one of the things you asked me about my research, I love looking at the paintings of the time frame.
Oh, yes. And I love that you was trying to add them to your book too. That was hot. Yes, I love that.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at the paintings, and I start noticing stuff, and then you just like you, I start digging, and I find out that even though when you're enslaved, like they figured out a whole language. Like if the point was this way, that means you was looking for a man. If you, we figured it out.
Yes.
But once you became free, you never wore. You might have a scarf underneath the hat, but you always wore a hat because that told everybody from a distance you were a free woman. My mom, I got it. Unfortunately, when my mom passed, I couldn't have the hats because they were just so I donated. Too much of a reminder. I donated them. I wish I had kept them because my mom was one of those who would put flowers or do different arrangements so the hat would just look just so, or it would match whatever she was into her hats. And that is a part of our tradition. That's why we had the big church hats and things like that, because you were celebrating, you were free to worship. It was a celebration, right? So I can't do a scarf now out in public because I feel like I'm doing something dishonoring the peeps. Dishonoring the folks from the ages. I mean, because and I now bought hats because of this, because I want to keep some traditions alive, and hats are important. But looking at the paintings, they tell you everything. They tell you what people value and all these sorts of things. I love.
We was talking about hats, and someone just texted me a picture of my grandma, and she.
Oh, look at that hat!
Yes.
Look at her, and look at it. Everything matching.
Everything matched, and it was always put to the side with the flowers and stuff. And then I was like, and then I used to ask her, never knew. And I'm sure, sometimes, people when they're older, they can just tell you, but they give you the short version. Yeah. And I'd be like, girl, why you hats was her thing? She's like, honey, I'm free. And I was like, well, praise the Lord. But I never, you know what I mean? But I never knew. And then, back then, how I was.
The thing is, like, I might have cried when I figured it out. Because it's like, you just don't know. And it was in my face.
It is overwhelming.
All the time.
When you figure it out, it's like, damn.
Yeah.
It's very overwhelming.
Yeah. So I love for folks, go sit with your grandmas and your elderly uncles. They got stories.
They do.
And they're, unfortunately with the pandemic, we're losing a layer of that.
We are.
Because of the isolation. So, figure out how to make them on Zoom. They may not get, hit the buttons, but figure out how to get them people on Zoom. Listen to them, because we're losing so much. And that's why, I try and put as much as I can without, you're coming for a story. You're gonna leave with some education. I'm gonna just be flat out. You leave with education, but I want you to be engaged and wrapped in a story, so that you want to know more, that you want us, and you want to see us succeed and win.
You really do. And what I like about it, because I gave one, we gifted the book to a book member or whatever, and so she did stuff for her first introductory to you. Mm-hmm. And so she said, I was skimming through it, and I'm glad you put pictures in it, because she said, I was skimming through it, and I saw her on the hammock.
Yup.
with the other guy. And so she was like, well, hold on. So she called. She was like, wait a minute. I said, no, you got to read the book. It's going to take you a minute because she's one of them research. And it did. She was like, girl, I cannot. So I was like, okay, she got another book coming out too. So you're going to have to hurry up. And I told her to take a break.
Yes.
Go read one of her romance just to get, and then come back to it. But she was just, when she called, you could just tell the difference in her voice. Yes. She's like, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. I didn't know how we did not know any of this. I'm like, yo, that's why we have the Vanessa Rileys and the Beverly Jenkins to let us, to teach that to us. So we thank God for you, ma'am.
Thank you. I mean, and Beverly is so amazing because she's unpacked so much in the African American experience that we are forgetting or don't know, or it was hidden. And the hot sauce story is my favorite.
Yes.
The hot sauce story. So y'all going to find Beverly and the hot sauce story.
Got to, yeah. I was wondering how she ever said that. Like, she said it on air somewhere.
She said it on the air.
Y'all
going to have to watch every one of her videos till you find it.
Damn.
I know.
Listen, because y'all know it wasn't on my show, because it was
see, next time
foolery on my show.
Yes, y'all are so funny. I was just saying, y'all funny.
The very first one though, she dropped a lot of nuggets, but we was basically on the Blessing series.
Yes.
So we was into that, and then me, I go straight to the bullshit.
Yes.
Immediately after that.
Very much so. And the thing is, the book, you can't tell, like, oh, wait a minute, they bullshit? Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay. Y'all be so slick about it.
Be bullshit with a smile. You know what I'm saying? I absolutely love that. So, okay. So I'm sitting at home one day, right? Mm-hmm. And text messages going up. And it's Vanessa Riley. Oh, shit.
What I done did.
And I was like, what Vanessa done did? But I turned on GMA. I was like, oh, shit. Vanessa, when they hit you up and said, girl, hey, what you doing? This is whatever. We at GMA, bye. What did you say? Was you like...
After I stopped the praise shouting, sha-na-na, you got to figure out what you're going to say. So they give you... So the good thing is they give you a moment to come up with what you're going to say. And then you have to shoot it and send it to them, right? Mm-hmm. It took like 40 tries, right, to get that.
Really?
Get that right. Yes. Because you'll do something, and I was like, the persona of me, right, is always writing on my porch in Atlanta, right? I got one of these long porches.
You do.
Right?
You took a picture on your porch, and I'm like, so when I come to Atlanta, I'm like,
we're gonna as long as it's not burning hot.
Yeah. No, I can't do that.
Yeah, it's not burning hot or polleny.
No,
we're gonna be out there on the porch.
I'm going through the changes. I can't do the hot. Can't do the hot.
No, then you choose the season to come in.
Okay.
The best thing is fall because it's beautiful. The trees still have leaves and stuff like that. But so anyway, we're out there, right? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, construction noises happen. So okay, can't use that take. Wind blows something and stuff fall down in the back. I mean, girl, it's like everything. It didn't just my own fool of the tree of like, what was I supposed to say? So 40 takes later, it looks amazing.
It did look amazing. Oh my God! So they featured Island Queen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, did you ask him when he was there? He was like, okay, can y'all feature the rest of my books too?
You unfortunately don't get any of that, but it was hilarious because it was supposed to show on Friday. So my agent actually went down to Times Square because they put Island Queen's book up on the moniker and all that sort of stuff. But they had some guy talking long about barbecuing some mushrooms or something like this. So the segment went long, so they didn't air it. So they told us it would be next Friday, right? They actually aired it on Monday. All of a sudden, my phone is blowing up. And I was like, yo, Steve, Friday! We was good. But,
you gotta get everybody on the phone. Hey, look, come on.
People like, and my pastor was like, hey, I just saw you on Gmail.
I tell you, my phone was blowing up. I'm like, oh shit, what happened? Because I'm like, when they announced, I'm like, oh hell, when that happened. And I saw it, I was like, oh my, I was sitting down. Yes. And I wish my husband could have videoed me. I was standing up in front of the TV just like, cheers.
And the cool thing was because they had more time on Monday, they actually got to linger. So they were like, "Ooh, she's a doctor and a mechanical engineer." And made my child sound like she was 5, and she read Mama and all. It was beautiful, though. So God's order of when things happen is amazing. Because if they had tried to squeeze it in on that Friday, they would have had to boom and you're gone.
You're not a squeezing kind of girl. God made room for you.
He did. He opened the door, made room.
I absolutely loved it. So now we're here in Chicago for the Chicago Spring Fling. Big ups to Pamela and Shannon because you guys did a wonderful job. The gala was last night and all that was great. And Dr. Vanessa Riley did the keynote speech. Now, Vanessa, in your keynote speech, what do you talk about? Because actually, Donna from Kid Rocha, she is the keynote for the luncheon.
Yes.
And she's like, Vanessa's going first. Why you put me behind Vanessa? I'm like, hey, baby, So she was like, this would be her first time doing it as well. So we was trying to figure out, like, how do you prepare for a keynote? What exactly do you say? So I said, I asked you.
Okay. So I, you have a moment, right? Mm-hmm. And you want to say something impactful, something to help people because you just don't know where people are. And as I said last night, I'm in a season where things appear to be working and the hard work I put in is now being rewarded. But I know it's a season and things change and whatnot. Now I want my season to go like 20 seasons and like on TV. Yeah, this is the longest running show. I would love that, right? But that's not where everybody is. And so I took people back to the woeful beginnings.
Yes,
and I also want to honor the conference theme. So the conference theme is create, write, and love. And so
I like that too.
it's a beautiful thing. So I wrap that into my speech, and I challenge folks. There are a million excuses why we're not writing, why we're not putting our books out there, why we're not on bookshelves, et cetera, et cetera. You got to own your part.
Right.
If you're not writing, if you're not doing the promotion things you need to do, if you just think you write it and they'll come, baby, no, that ain't going to happen.
That is not going to happen, girl. Your milkshake do not bring all the boys to the yard.
No, they don't.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes they want chocolate instead of vanilla.
How about that, dear girl? Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I want everybody, you own up what's your part. So you need to be working on your craft. You need to be doing the things you need. You come into conferences. Like for me, one of the things I had to change in my mindset because I like goals and deliveries. I'm very much like you. Boom. If I'm coming here, these are the these objectives I'm going to come.
Yeah.
I just thought that my objectives were I'm going to learn. I'm not going to here to sell. I'm not trying to get an agent. I am here to learn and improve my craft and those types of things. Because you have to have your craft to a certain point before the agents, before the book deals, etc. Otherwise, you will be a one-hit wonder. You'll have that one book that you worked and got professionally edited and all this sort of stuff. And then they'll be like, okay, what's book 2? And you'll be like, oh, crap. That took me 5 years to get that thing right. Because you didn't learn nothing.
Right.
So it's a process. And
that's what you told them last night?
I told them last night.
So you basically told them to get their shit together?
Pretty much. I call folk out. I was like, take my mother, take my father. It's me, oh Lord! Standing in the way of my career.
So I'm like,
girl, I turned it out last night.
Did you?
Yes.
Damn, I missed it.
That's really why Donna's scared. Because I turned it out.
Because you turned it out.
I turned it out.
That's what's up.
She gonna be amazing too, but I was like, yeah, you gonna give me 20 minutes up on this thing? You coming for sure.
I said, man, when I got down there, because of course, we working. So we...
Y'all working.
We in pictures and over the side or whatever. And I was like, damn it, Vanessa is speaking. So by the time we got up there, you was done. I was like, go do it again. I missed it.
I actually set it up, so I have it on tape. I will send it to you afterwards.
Yes. Because she wouldn't go back up there, y'all. She started dancing and shit. I'm like, that's not what I asked you to do.
I know. I'm so bad at following directions.
So bad at following directions, but I absolutely love it. So today you're going to do the book signing, right?
Book signing, yes. So if you're in the Chicago area, come on down. Love to meet you. and shake your hands and whatnot, and
We met. Even your mask is orange. Yo, she got so much sunshine right now that it's just, I absolutely love it.
I bring it, y'all. This is y'all invite Vanessa. I bring it. I'm gonna bring it.
She's Vanessa. That's what we do. We bring all of it, honey. You command the room, honey.
Exactly.
I absolutely love it. So Vanessa, you have a new because we know you gotta go and get your life together. Before
Please hit that Starbucks up. Come on, Starbucks.
Get two.
Come on,
Bring
come
it
on.
up to. She needs two Starbucks.
Yes.
Get water. You have a new book coming out.
10:37 a.m.
Okay.
Hey,
Someone was talking.
That was telling me to hurry up.
No. So yes, I have 2 books coming out.
2 books.
So
Okay.
I'm gonna hit y'all. Actually 3 if you count. If you count the Island Queen paperback, because I really need y'all to buy that too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit
buy
y'all
that.
up. Just put your credit card number at the end of this feed. Just
That's
DM
it.
it and whatnot.
Whatever. Drop it. You know what I'm saying? We'll drop her. We'll put our cash up in there. Just like
There you
your
go.
books. So.
There you go.
So-
You sit. Yeah, we'll get them signed. You do that for.
Oh
do that
yeah,
for
I
Shay.
gotta get them signed. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we'll go drop the cash out. You send it to us. We'll get the book signed. Send them out to you. We'll handle all that.
There you go.
That'll be hot.
That would be that'd be cool. That'd be cool. So, in July, you're going to get my second historical fiction. This is called Mother, Sister, Warrior.
Ooh, you told us.
No,
you told me
Sister,
about
Mother.
it.
Ooh, I'm messing my own title up. Sister, Mother, Warrior. My bad.
Sister, Mother.
Sister, Mother, Warrior. This is the story about the 2 women who shaped the Haitian Revolution. See, most of the time, the history books, when they talk about it, they downplay the Haitian Revolution because, once again, it was the only successful one in the Western Hemisphere where we rose up and kicked the French out. All right.
Still, like
Right.
no, you can't come over there and get nothing.
Yeah, and so people know Toussaint Louverture, they know Jean-Jacques Dessalines, they know Christophe and Pétion and all these folks. But what they don't know is that this is the reason this war was successful is because of the women. Women were fighting it for 50 years before the last 10 that y'all know about. We were on the lines, and literally, Abadoria Toya, you watch Black Panther, you know the Dori Miage, the women, the Protect the King. Well, that was based on a real tribe in Africa, the Dahomey warriors.
Wow.
They frightened the heck out of people. They, like when the soldiers, the English and the Portuguese were in Africa, they saw them women coming. They were like, "Oh hell!"
Big Mama coming.
Big mamas, right? And they were trained killers. They trained them in a way that's almost like brainwashing them, that they feel no pain. So they would jack you like nobody's business. So Abadoria Toya is one of them. She gets enslaved. She ends up in Saint Domingue, which is present-day Haiti, and she teaches a young boy how to fight, teaches him military strategy. This young man grows up to be Jean-Jacques Dessalines, who is regarded as one of the military geniuses of his time. And he didn't go to West Point. So where could he have found all this military training from? Abadoria.
How did she get it?
She was a Dahomey warrior.
She was a warrior.
She was a warrior woman. Yes.
Wow.
So she's protecting the king and leading engagements and having troops and whatnot. And she literally, when she fights in the Haitian Revolution, she's given a command of soldiers. She's leading them through. Again, amazing woman. We should know her name.
So wait. Okay, so when is that coming out?
That comes out in July.
That comes out in July. So
one more woman in the book. So we
I
got,
forgot about the other one. Remember
yeah. But y'all don't like this one because
Look,
this is the love story
I'm
part.
gonna start asking questions about that lady. So, but wait, before we go to the other woman, the warrior mama.
Okay.
Big Mama.
Big Mama. Let's call her Big Mama Grand Toya.
Right.
I mean, literally Grand Toya.
I love it. So you explore everything in her history, so we know about her family, all that good stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then now go to the other lady.
Yeah, and that is you'll have me back and we'll talk about
Yeah,
we had to figure out what her path was.
Definitely,
because
yes.
they don't have records like we got, and they definitely don't have Google.
No, Google get a lot. Bonjour, get it from the internet.
I know.
All right, so what about the love?
So the love story is Mary Claire Bonaire. She is literally I believe the first battlefield nurse, predating Florence Nightingale and Mary Seacole. She has a group of women on a mule train, and literally goes into the middle of a battlefield, girl. So
A
mule train.
What is that?
That's like wagons and mules are pulling up over the hills and everything, because Haiti's a very hilly country and whatnot. So she sees the battle going on. She pulls her women in the middle of the battle, and they stop fighting for her. Now, first of all, I'd be like, yeah, that wouldn't be me. Because I wouldn't trust that she was a prayed up woman. I would not trust that they're going to stop shooting because I just showed up with some women on the mules. I don't believe I got that level of faith.
Was probably so shocked, like, what the hell? You know?
Yes, basically, that's probably what happened.
And that's how you get a drop on somebody.
Exactly.
When they're stunned, you're like, oh shit. Then next thing you know, they're on top of you. You're like, oh.
Yeah, it's crazy. But she's Jean-Jacques' wife. So Desline has power and peace on both sides of him. And their love, they have a long love story, and
I cannot wait.
So I gotta bring that because we were treasured. Many people in history, some of the books I throw out, they try and pretend black women weren't treasured, that we weren't beautiful, that we weren't treated well. I found the evidence, and I have rolled that into this story so that you can see how this relationship develops between these very different people.
I absolutely love it. Look, y'all, we got to run out of time. That's why when they give me 30 minutes, Vanessa, we had to talk to Vanessa on the Brown Book series. We can talk to her forever because it's she's a treasure.
She's
a treasure.
So are you, lady.
You are. I love
always
shenanigans and history.
Very much so.
Yes, very much so. So if you're in the Chicago area, we have the Sheraton Grand North, right, nephew? Yeah, Sheraton Grand North.
She got good people around here.
Got good people around here. They're gonna, she's gonna be on the book signing from 3 until 5. We'll be broadcasting live from the book signing. So make sure if you're in the Chicago area, come on down, see Dr. Vanessa Riley. And in July, we're gonna get this book. I'm gonna have the book Monday when I get home. I'm gonna read it.
Next week. This week, I'm gonna mail it on Monday.
Oh, you gonna mail it on Monday? Well, next week, and then I'll be talking shit to y'all about it the week after.
There you go.
So Vanessa, is so wonderful seeing
Thank
you
you.
again.
Thank you.
I'll be up there in your room in a little while.
Go.
Everybody, coming up next is, I don't know. I got my list, but I don't know where it's at. And I got my glasses on because I'm trying to be cute. So y'all stay tuned. Give us like 5 more minutes and we'll be back. We'll be broadcasting all day. Hey y'all, hey. It's your girl Shay Baby from the Brown Book series, and we're still broadcasting live from the Chicago Spring Fling here at the Sheraton Grand in Chicago, Illinois. I'm having a blast here. I'm getting a chance to meet so many, oh my God, so many great people. So this young lady that's sitting next to me, I was a little nervous, y'all, because the whole academia stuff. I'd be like, oh shit. I like to cuss and clown, and I'm from the country, so my words might not come out just right. And then my lips is big, so sometimes, I fumble a little bit. And then, again from the South, my husband's like, baby, slow down when you talk. I know you get excited. And when I talk to Pamela, and she's like, you're gonna meet with Professor Moody Freeman. I'm like, oh shit. Gotta get my good stuff together, you know what I'm saying? But it didn't happen, so I appreciate you still coming. I'll have my good stuff together later on. When you come back to the Brown Book series, I'll make sure I have my good stuff together for you. But right now,
it's all good.
Yeah, you've seen the show. You know how we get down.
I've seen the show.
Exactly.
Several of them.
See what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Brown Book series, live on location, Dr. Juile Moody Freeman, the director for the Center
for
of
Black Diaspora. Don't worry, a lot of people have trouble.
Okay, cool. At DePaul University.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yes,
oh my God.
Yes, I'm just so excited.
I'm
I'm like here giggling.
I'm excited too. They was like, Shay, you only got 30 minutes. I said I need more. So Miss Julie she said she's going to come back on the Brown Book series. So we on our regular hourly show that airs every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. And and we're going to try to do something, y'all, because all this history and all this Black excellence is just beautiful. So I was like, yo, I'm trying to do a show with her and like Aunt Bev and Vanessa and just let them just go. Oh my God. And
my God.
Yeah, that's gonna be hot.
Yeah, I remember like during the pandemic, I think you and Reese Ryan used to pair up.
Yeah.
One would have the show and then we transition.
I throw it to the other one. So y'all came on at 6, Reese is at 7, and then we throw it to Iris Bowling at 8 o'clock for Iris Moments. And that's what I wanted to do. I'm like, y'all want to have like a network that we all just together line us up. So we just throw it to each other. We just block out. I told them, let's just block out Wednesday.
Yeah.
So they can't do nothing but just see us on Wednesday.
That was nice.
So I absolutely love that. So Miss Julie, tell us a little bit about yourself. Your work in African American Studies. They tell me that you have a romance module.
Yes. So I teach
I'm going to be tweeting this to Aunt Bev while you're doing that.
Very good.
Tell us.
I teach I'm an associate professor in African and Black Diaspora Studies.
What is that? The diaspora? What's that?
Diaspora.
I got you misspelled.
No, so diaspora really studies Black people who have been scattered across the, throughout the globe. And it can be with African before it means that Black people have been scattered, right? But it could be voluntary and involuntary. So there are various periods of diaspora. A lot of people think like diaspora just focuses on slavery,
right?
But Black people have always been across the globe way before slavery. So that's kind of what we teach in African and Black Diaspora Studies.
How did you get into that?
I was an English major. So I was an English major and I took a class with Dr. Carla Holloway. Taught a class on women writers from African diaspora, and that was it. It like transformed my life, and that was how I got into it.
How did it transform your life? Was you already, you know how some people when they're young as a kid, they're already pro-Black, like this is HBCU. So were you like one of those kids?
No, I grew up I'm from Belize in Central America, and Belize was a British colony, and my education really was colonial.
Okay.
Right. So, you studied British literature, you barely even studied Caribbean literature or Caribbean history. So I left Belize and I came over to an HBCU. So I went to St. Augustine's College in Raleigh, North Carolina, and then I taught at Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina. And even then, I was first introduced to African American literature at St. Augustine's College, and I was like, what? James Baldwin? That was it was a world that I had never.
I wanted to move to Paris just because of him.
I know.
I was like, I just want to go to James Baldwin. Only because of him. He was just so fascinating to me.
Beautiful writing and beautiful human being. I'm glad we have all the tapes, the recordings now of him.
That was wonderful. Just his life, oh man.
Yeah, so I was like really colonial, and I think little by little through Dr. Holloway's class, and then when I did my PhD, I decided I want to focus only on like feminist theory, Caribbean writers, African writers, the rhetoric of colonialism and post-colonialism, and that was when I kind of had to learn the history, read up on it all by myself, and that's when I slowly transformed, my life transformed, because you grow up thinking that Black people don't have any history,
right? That's what Vanessa was saying earlier.
Right, and you find out through the writers like Vanessa Riley, Beverly Jenkins, who look into that history, like go into the archives and look at documents, right? And then are able to build the stories. It's the same thing. I studied a Belizean writer. Her name is Zia Jill. She has passed away. But it was also through her novels that I learned about Belize and learned about my history. And that's kind of how I came to all this. Yeah.
And I love that, though, because like you said, and I'm just, of course, real honest here. Well, I have to give you a disclaimer. You know how I get down. I like the movies like The Roots and the other movies or whatever. And so, I didn't like watching documentaries no more. Because everything was, I didn't want to, we're just going to get beat all the time. That's all you saw. You never saw anything like Black people, being kings and queens. And I'm like, yo, is this a folk tale? Because I've heard my teachers say, because being from Georgia, we had all Black teachers, and no, they're just not in this book.
Yeah.
But we was more than slaves, who was more than this, who was more than that. And I'm like, well, everything that we ever saw was every picture, somebody getting beat. Everything else, we in a kind of fit. I'm like, I don't want to see this anymore. I was so sick of it. And that was the main reason, thanks Cassie, I didn't want to go to a HBCU because I felt like that was all they was going to be teaching. And I was like, listen, can I get off the slave train? It was just so horrifying. Like, it was just, to me, it just fucked up my mind. Because I'm like, damn, it's all we got, for 400 years, we just got beat. From the time we got here, that's all that's ever happened. And then you have the Beverly Jenkins and the Vanessa Riley and the Juile Moody Freeman that says, no, boo.
Right.
It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
So you guys are treasures. I was telling Vanessa earlier, like, we thank God for you guys. Because y'all let us know that not only was your history great, your future can even be greater.
Yeah.
You know, because some people, we all fell back on this, oh, shoot, can't do nothing, they gonna do nothing. And I'm like, it wasn't even like that.
Right.
We went through a period, but we had a whole history of just excellence.
Yes. Yes,
crazy.
like even through the pain. And I think that's why I like romance novels too.
Yeah.
I like all of them, but I think the Beverly Jenkins and Vanessa Riley, they really help you to understand, and Alyssa Cole, right? Alyssa Cole,
yes, you're right.
Piper Hughley,
Yes.
they help to show you, you know, and even if you look at books like that are not romance, but Harriet Jacobs' Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. There's a book that came out, Black Love Matters. Jessica Pride, right? And so one of the things I talk about in that chapter in terms of love is that a lot of times we become so overwhelmed by the trauma that we forget that Black people were able to find moments of love. And like in that book, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, you see the tenderness between Harriet Jacobs and her son, and not her son, but her brother.
Right.
But they're hiding it from the slave master, right? And so Black people were able to, even when like I have my students read slave narratives and stuff, I point out those moments when they're fixing their hair, they're just loving and enjoying each other. Black people always loved, and that we shouldn't believe that, you know, that just because they tried to break us, you know, they enslaved us, stole us, all those things, that Black people didn't, you know, like lost all that love.
Love for
they
each
did
other.
not.
You would think because that happened to us that we would be more closer as a culture than anybody else.
And I think that we are. But sometimes I feel that in terms of publishing, or maybe even in terms of films, you know, we have to also remember that people are making choices about what gets published.
That's true.
And so I think with these writers, like the romance writers, for example, you know, they are able to carve a space in publishing to show us about love. That's like the best thing I love about romance.
Me too. I love me some romance. Now, have you ever authored a book?
A romance
book?
No.
Do you think you're going to write one day?
Oh my God, I don't know. I think, you know, it's funny because I am never bored because I always have stories in my head, but I've never like trying to put it onto paper.
Okay.
So like there are always constant stories that are in my head, love stories that I do, but never written.
In my head, that's so crazy because I have them in my head too, right? And so one of the authors, she was like, Sharon Sikoop, I love Sharon Sikoop. Hey Sharon. Sharon's like, yo, so you need to put them on paper. I was like, girl, they will lock my ass up.
I want to read them now.
And she's like, no, I will help you. We will comb together. I was like, yeah,
I didn't know. I wondered about that. You know, I'd ask maybe my son and husband, like, do you have stuff in your head? Like, do people walk around him who's here? Like, do you all have stories in your head?
You have stories in your head, Lee?
Tons of stories.
Yes, wonderful. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, it does. I'm talking about mine comes with soundtracks.
Ooh.
I didn't make the soundtrack yet.
Not the soundtrack yet. I'll tell you about the soundtrack when my nephew leaves.
Oh my God.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're here at the Romance Writers Convention here in Chicago, Illinois. Are you any any panels?
No, I'm not on
So
any
you just here
panels. No, I'm
chilling.
just Pamela invited me to
Okay.
come to the bloggers, and then you invited me to come here. So
Yes,
here I am.
I'm glad you did. Now tell me
Yes.
about your podcast.
Oh, so the Black Romance podcast. When was it? I think it's 2020. I started it right when the pandemic
Right.
hit. I had always wanted, because I'd written maybe about 2 articles on one on Brenda Jackson's book, and then the other one I wrote was on African American history, like looking at all that had been published on it. And I had always wanted to talk to the writers, because I had noticed that there were some novels where the love story is set in a center or institute that helps the community.
Right.
And I love those type of I love all of them, but I love that type of story.
Right.
Like it feels like the novel is sort of activist. And so I wanted to interview them, and it just so happened Zoom came, and I was like, wait a minute, I think I can do this. And so I wrote to the dean's office, sort of did a little proposal, and they were like, yes, go for it. And I didn't know anything about podcasting. I had no idea. I didn't know if it would be successful. I just had this urgency that I wanted the voices. I wanted to hear the writers in their own words.
Yes. Literally in their own words.
And so I'm like, I'm going to just try to maybe build a history, because when I was doing the research, I couldn't find, you could find stuff like in newspaper articles, but people really didn't write about Black romance in a scholarly setting.
Right.
And so that's kind of how it started. And so I just like wrote people on the website. First person to respond was Sandra Kitt.
Okay.
She, like, I wrote her on her, she was so sweet.
Let me tell you about Sandra. And now I love everyone I talk to. I love them all in different ways.
Yeah.
But Sandra Kidd, if someone asks me who I just would want to sit down with and just pick their brains, first of all, when she said she was, I think she's a scientist or something. Sandra Kidd is awesome.
Right.
She has oh my God, I love her. I just listen to her talk, I'll just be in awe. She gives me like a Beverly Jenkins, I call her Unbearable. Her feel that you just like listen to everything that come out of their mouth. You're like, oh my God, but she got just I don't know, it's just a difference. It's just it's crazy.
And from what I'm learning, like based on the podcast, she was very supportive of writers up in New York. Her and Rochelle Allers.
Sandra was like she was the first person that was signed to oh my God.
Sure, I know she published Harlequin. Vivian Stevens
she was their first author.
Yes.
And then they wanted her to change the cover to like, white people on her cover.
Yeah.
So she was like, no, I'm good, go ahead on. And then she wrote it, and now they're like, okay, listen, you can do you. Yeah. So I thought, man, just her whole story is just, and the way she just, oh my God, I love her.
Yeah.
She's so intriguing. I'm like, you were with a scientist, and what's going on? Just like her mind. Like, I just want to, I don't know, she's like, to me, more reserved. Mm-hmm. Belle just gonna tell you, look, blah, 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 blah. And shit, but later on after that, you know what I'm saying? Like Brenda Jackson, they just tell, it's like she's more reserved. And when she's talking, it's like, you just kind of like, damn. Like, it's just history. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just fangirl that real quick. My bad.
No, but no, she was just, I think, really important to writing, publishing. Yes. So Sandra Kitt, and then I just, different people connected me with Brenda Jackson. Cheryl connected me to Brenda Jackson, mm-hmm. And then I just wrote Beverly Jenkins on her website, and she responded to me, and that was it. And just one after the other, and then I think I asked Sandra Kitt, I said, do you know Vivian Stevens? And then she was like, I think I know somebody who knows her. And so she hooked me up, and I got Vivian Stevens on. I didn't know about podcasting again, and so Vivian Stevens she doesn't have the computer and stuff to do it. Right. So we did it over the phone. I was in my closet. All the clothes was because I wanted the song to be. And so I recorded that in the closet, and then that's how I don't remember what your original question was.
No matter.
But I think that's how it started. But that's kind of how it started, and just one after the other.
And that's why I like talking to other people who doing the same thing that I'm doing, because it's like we get together and oh my God, we just just talk about like these are like walking treasures.
Yes.
You know, it's like they're iconic, and I just hate it when it seems like so many people kind of shit on romance authors.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, they're the ones who keeping the light on. They're like $1 billion industry, and they, you know, when they save lives. I hate to say that, but like when you in like a dark place, I've heard so many people say that. They'll go and grab indigo. Or
yes. And I'm sure you've heard the story that Beverly Jenkins talks about with when Indigo was published, and you know everybody's crying because they just are so happy to see a heroine who was dark skinned. Right? Like, oh my God,
this is crazy, man.
It really helps people a lot, and I think when I was talking with them, just to hear the things they went through, untold, that people don't want stories with black characters, change them to white, you know, that just to hear their story. My jaw was dropping during some interviews.
Yes.
Like, wow, you had suspected, but even when I told them, like, you know, when I was lining up waiting at Walden Books to try to get those books, like those meant everything to me. And then for me to be sitting in front of them, hearing them talk was just...
It's just crazy. I don't take it like, I'm telling you.
No, I don't take it like that.
I call her and Brenda my aunties, right? So sometimes I just hit them up. I'm like, yo, I think I feel like you need to hear my voice today. And and so I don't take it lightly. I'm like, yo, they're just awesome. And just to hear them just talk about the history and the romance. So like for Brenda Jackson, you know, we asked her one question. We always ask about, you know, the story of your life, you know, what would the title be? So she started telling them about the love between her and her husband. So I'm like, yo, not only do you write romance novels, it's easy for you to do it because you lived it.
Yes.
I was like, yo,
that is so true.
So that was, and I was like, my mouth was dropping. I'm gonna tell my husband, I want you to act like Mr. Gerald.
You know, it's so, because I had heard, I mean, like all her books, you know, she kind of talks about that. And so I told her that when I was writing a chapter for, you know, for a contribution to a book, I wanted to find out something off her website. And I went on the side of it, she had put the news that her husband passed away. It felt like it was my husband had died.
Girl,
I was crying. Because it just like meant everything to me that they had that beautiful relationship.
Yes.
You know?
One lady said when she first met Auntie Brenda, she said because she knows she followed her, she died her fan since day one, since the Madera.
Oh yes. Yes.
And she said that too. She was like when she, you know, saw on her website that he passed away. Right. She was like, she said she didn't meet Brenda until like 4 years later. She said when she met her, she said, I just want to hug her and just say, I'm sorry, we're here. I was like, yeah, they make you. They just got this weird gift.
They do.
You know what I'm saying?
They can tell some stories.
They can tell some stories, but still be so relatable that you feel like you could just go home with them and lay on themselves and go to sleep. It's just, I just love that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that, and I'm glad you're able to talk to them and experience the same thing I'm experiencing.
Yeah. And I like how they sort of bring along, you know, like, Beverly Jenkins supported Alyssa Cole and Piper and them in the book that they wrote, Juneteenth, you know. And so what I've noticed doing the podcast and writing about Black romance is you see there's a tradition of Black women in the 1800s, right. the Black clubs women, and they believed in lifting as we climb.
Yo, I like that.
Yes, and
That's
see them. You see them. Yeah, I interviewed. You know, I don't know if you've ever heard of Celeste Norfleet. Celeste Norfleet, she also, I interviewed her in season 2, and she, there was a quote she said, how, you know, like when she went to a conference, she didn't know anybody, and over you hear writers saying that when you interview them, they didn't know anybody. Next, here comes Brenda Jackson and Beverly Jenkins. Come on, Rachel Aleris, come on. And they help to support and embrace.
They're always embracing.
Always
lifting someone up.
And so they said, you know, they were helped when they came along, and you got to bring the other one up with you. Yeah. You gotta help them to make beautiful stories about Black people, right? So that's the kind of stuff that I talk about.
I love it. So when do you come on?
Well, I haven't come on recently. I had the first season.
You didn't work it.
Man, it's so tired.
I need you to come on.
Yeah, so I did the first one 2020, and then I went like, I guess maybe August to October, and then I came with the other one in 2021. I went like May to August.
Okay.
And then I really
Just
wanted to
like seasons.
so I wanted to do season 3 May, but I won't be able to meet that deadline. So hopefully in the summer I'll be able to start back up again.
Well, definitely let me know when you start back up. So of course, you know, we always are like, listen, you finish looking over here, you go to look at Julie now. Don't, you know, we all together.
Yeah.
So that sounds like I was telling you one time. I was telling Reese Ryan and Iris Bowl, I'm like, yo, we all line up together. We throw it here. We right here. And so,
I had Reese Ryan on too, but I haven't had Iris Bowling. So
you need Iris
Bowling.
Yes.
I'm making my list.
Oh,
because I'm learning.
I gave her contact.
I'm learning as I go.
Yeah, you need Iris.
But remember, I was telling you too how we're coming out because of the podcast. I work with this organization, the International Association for the Study of Popular Romance, and they have a journal.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, they have the Journal of Popular Romance, and I proposed doing an issue, and so Margaret Hendricks, who is Elizabeth Race, writes as Elizabeth Race, we co-edited. So in that issue that will come out online will be all the interviews from season 1. And we build a bibliography of not only things that are written about Black romance, but also podcasters, because I feel like they are capturing history. So I put yours in it, the Brown Book series, and I put a number of other podcasters, and then there are articles that are written by Nicole Katrina, Piper Hughley, and a bunch of others, Rita Dandridge and Jamie. I'm sorry, Jamie, I forgot your name, but you'll see all of them there.
They know we love them,
right?
It'd be so many of them that you're trying to. Man, I'm telling you, because our show come on once a week. And I'd be like tripping. I'd be like, for the ones who have audibles, thank God for them. And I can listen.
Yes.
While I'm doing
That's
other
what
stuff.
saved me.
Yeah, listening and getting it and whatever. Because when you have to read them everything, I'm like, oh my God. So I told my girl, y'all, hold on, I got to finish this book. Yeah, let me get it, soak it in. Okay, cool. Now let's go to the next one. And I'm like, everybody got no cliff notes. Oh my God, Jesus. You can't have cliff notes because it's romance. And I'd be like, I need to know. Let me just start over. I need to read this whole book, and then once you get into it, a real good one, before you know it's over with anyway. So I love that.
But anyway, that will come out. That journal will come out because I want to keep documenting as best and as long as I possibly can to keep making sure that we don't forget what what our founders or mothers, aunties did to make it possible for us to be here today,
That's what's up.
To write and publish.
God bless you on that one, girl.
Thank you.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So, okay, are you gonna hang around for the book signing?
It's 3:00?
From 3 to 5.
I think I might slip up here at 3.
See what's going
yes,
on with
and
them.
buy some books.
Buy some books.
Yeah.
They just go around and hear Vanessa talk crap on her table. Just me talking shit. She don't know nothing else. So she said, I'm be signing books, drinking water. I'm like, yes.
That's so nice.
I'm a sneaker a cranberry juice or something to make her feel good. Make her feel good. It was so awesome meeting you.
I'm so glad you asked me to be on your show.
Definitely. You have to come back and we have to do something. Definitely we have to do something.
I would love to.
That's going to be high. We can have like
Maybe we could read a good book or something and talk about that.
Yes, and talk about that, or we can interview, or we can do whatever. And we're having Raw, the Romance Readers and Writers experience in October 20th and 29th. You know you need to be there.
Where is that?
It's in Alexandria, Virginia. It's gonna be cute. Of course, I gotta have the BJs there. So of course, Beverly Jenkins, Brenda Jackson, Iris Bowen, Reese Ryan, Vanessa. They all will be there. It's gonna be hot.
What made you decide to come up with this?
The Raw experience? Because, so when we go to different conferences, this one is cool though. But other conferences, it's like you have the master classes, and everyone was master classes, so you're not really getting a one-on-one chance to be with the authors.
Yes.
You're sitting there, you're listening to the keynote speaker, and thank God if you have a good one, because just sometimes somebody who writes romance novels, they ain't always good speakers like that.
Right.
So you listen to the keynote speakers, and you just going all day from class to class to class. It's no interaction for real with other people unless you're the mixer or even with the author itself. So for the romance readers and writers experience, it's like you're just hanging out with your favorite author. So Iris Bolin has the Bit Wiz tournament going on. So you're just going to be sitting down talking shit with Iris Bolin while she, playing you in Bit Wiz. We got the Brenda Jackson Men Action Lounge going on. So the men are in there, watching TV, talking shit with each other, playing a good game, and Brenda go come through there in a minute, talk crazy with it. It's a whole thing. I wanted to bring everybody together with all the shenanigans. So where Pamela and them they do the educational piece.
Who is doing the education?
Like Pamela and the Chicago Spring Fling. They have the master classes, the education piece, which I love. But Raw is all shenanigans. All shenanigans. You're gonna just be sitting there having a good time. You'll be able to talk to them. You of course get your book signed. We're gonna have dinner parties. Regina Bell is performing. Yeah, so I wanted to be a platform where just that, and then sometimes the authors they can't really have a good time because they gotta get their classes together, their teaching workshops, they're doing this. True. And so even the other organizers, like of course Pamela or Shannon are coming. I'm like, I just want y'all to be there and be relaxed and be able to chill. You know what I'm saying? And be ain't nobody working. I mean, but I don't work like Malik. I don't work like that for real. And so they'll be able to chill, relax, and just have fun and just enjoy being with your favorite author. That's it. So good. That's all I wanted. I got it from Brenda Jackson actually. Yeah, because she has the cruise where she bring her readers along and stuff, and they can just be enjoying her. Wow. And I was like, hey, auntie, that would be hot. What if I did? She's like, that would be good. I was like, so you were just there. Every author, they all got a special talent. It's something about them that we don't know. So when we get into it, like Elle Wright, she's a award-winning flutist. And other authors, they're like opera singers and shit. So I was like, we finna have a whole showcase. Yeah.
So it's a 1 day, 2 day?
No, it's on Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
It's October 28th and 29th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put that on my.
Yes, you have it on your calendar. Yes.
That sounds so good.
Then my world over here in the entertainment world, I'm like, we're gonna bring it over here in the romance world. We're gonna party, have a good time, talk crazy to each other. You know what I'm saying? You get to see Sonali Davis that she's gonna come over and show me how to do the Bali beat. I'm telling you. And that's it. So they can just see the authors in a different light. Yes. And be able to ask them. They're able to ask them a different type of question. Right. One young lady was saying, because she had recently lost her husband. So she was like, dang, I'm like, you need to talk to Brenda Jackson or Beverly Jenkins. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. You're reading their books and that's getting you through. But if you could just sit down and just really ask them how you made it
how
through.
Did they make it? That's
and so that's the whole thing. That's why all the platforms that I build is all about bringing the authors and the readers together. And see, we already feel like we're part of their family anyway.
Yeah, we do. We know everything. Well, not everything.
Not everything.
We think we know.
But we think, you know what I'm saying? But just be some other questions. We might be like, what the fuck? And they barely gonna say what the fuck back before she ever. Right. I love her so much. It's a shame.
Yeah. I remembered Jamie's last name, Pritchard.
Jamie
it would have bothered me if I couldn't remember the.
Jamie, we love her. Huh?
Yeah, because she wrote a piece in the journal about Brenda Jackson.
Okay. Look at them. So. And I love them too because they're always constantly. I mean, they appreciate the love and they love the love, but they are always like, okay, that's great. You read my book, perfect. But look, also you need to read. And they don't recommend another one of their books. They recommend another author.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're always pushing other authors. Always, because like you said, they said, they stood on the shoulders of someone else. So now, they're standing there so other people can stand on their shoulders. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome, girl.
I know.
Yes, honey. And we're gonna be in there standing on somebody's shoulders too now. Shit. I absolutely love it. Well, we gotta get ready. This is my 30 minutes is up, but you are going to come back to the Brown Book Series.
I would love to.
But before we go, we have to ask our signature question.
Uh-oh.
You're writing a book about your life.
Oh.
What would the title be?
I have actually. I think I have like a two-part. Can I have two
Oh
books?
yes, ma'am.
I have one book I think that wants to be like Love and Protected, because I don't know. I don't think that I would have made it this far without some kind of higher,
Right.
higher help.
And with that-
I think the next one would be I Will Have Peace in My Life.
Oh, that's sweet.
Don't want anybody to bring drama, nothing.
None.
Like with the rest of my life, I just want
Just
some
peace. That's what I tell people. If I gotta be in here by myself,
Right.
as long as I have peace, I'm all
Yeah,
right.
if you come in right.
You come in right,
we
we
can
cool.
make it. Yeah.
If you don't, you gotta get the hell on.
Right.
Hanny. Shit. I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for Dr. Juile Moody Freeman, who's coming out here. She's awesome. So if you're ever in the Chicago area, can we catch one of your classes anytime?
I don't know when I'll teach it again.
Okay.
It might be another year or two before I teach the class, but the class that I usually teach is called like Romance, Gender, and Women. And it's all Black romance that I
Okay,
teach
cool.
in it. So
Well, we're gonna be following you, and
Right.
we cool now. So you're gonna
Yes.
let me know when it is, and we'll
Yes.
we might even have to fly into Chicago.
Ooh.
Yeah. I absolutely love that.
Do it again in the summer. You can come when it's warmer.
Yeah, see, you already looking out for me.
See?
I appreciate it. I sure do, because boy, I be cold. You see, I'm a hoodie fanatic. I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
help it.
It's for you, it's for us, the fantasies. No one can judge us, no one can judge us. This is for us. Open up your brown book.